Do, 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 do. Let's see. Hey, Vestas, how are y'all doing? Hey, Faith? You got me today, Faith. You got me today. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Now I know what the thing is. Make sure I put Eastern Standard Time. And I'm just gonna keep it right there, Eastern Standard Time. So my intention was not to go to live until tomorrow, the first day of the combine. But based off this information that I got, and I've heard two key people give their regards regarding the Cleveland Browns offense and defense moving this year, I had to pull this live. I had to pull the live. Let's see. Okay, I got 8 people. Guess what? That means it's 8,000 people up in here. All right, Vestas. So I definitely want to share this news here. These two gentlemen by the name of Deebo&Jo. I always bring them up. I always have a segment or at least a clip that I play regarding Deebo&Jo. So as of now, I do not have any further information. But Joe Haden, the smaller one in build, the lighter brother, who was a Cleveland Brown. I didn't know that he actually was drafted by Cleveland in 2010. He actually played for Cleveland about 6 years, and then he went to the Steelers. He played with them about another 6. And actually, he signed a 1-day contract to retire at Cleveland as a defensive back and cornerback. So about 2 days ago, I just happened to watch a live and I noticed that he was not there. Come to find out, he was stuck in Mexico. I don't know if you know what's going on in Mexico, but it's very, very bad. On the last live that he was present on, he said that he found a private flight out of the country. He had to go to try to get on that flight in about 20 to 30 minutes. If he made it, we don't know. What's going on in Mexico? I heard that there was a cartel leader that he's no longer with us. So I'm assuming that the cartel is striking back. I heard that they are burning houses. I heard that they are pulling people out of homes. I heard that they are aliving people. So exactly that's what happened to the cartel leader. And as of now, I went to Joe and Deebo page. There's no updates. I even went to the last video that was posted. It was a segment of a live they did about 2 days ago. There's no information regarding Joe Haden's status. I watch the channel often. They normally go live on, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So tomorrow morning, I think they normally come on about 10 or 11, maybe 12, but I think 10 or 11. Of course, I'm going to be there and I'm going to see if there's an update on Joe Haden. So whatever his status is, if he was able to get out of Mexico, just go pray for his safety. If he's still in Mexico trapped, we're going to pray for his safety. And of course, we're going to pray for all of the tourists that's still in Mexico, because I'm hearing that there's no flights in, there's no flights out. They're burning houses. They're snatching people out of their homes. I think they kidnapped someone from the airport. So if you have any family members or friends that are currently in Mexico and that are trapped, just know that Tony Talks Vested Up and the Vestas community, we're going to send prayers to you and your family, and to Joe and anyone else there that cannot leave that country. Let me give you some of Joe's stats, because like I said, I was surprised that he signed a 1-day contract to actually retire as a Cleveland Brown. So that was honorable, and I definitely want to bring him up. I knew he played for the Cleveland Browns. I didn't know the type of years that he played for the Cleveland Browns, and I definitely didn't know that he decided to retire as a Cleveland Brown in, I think, 2021, 2022. So hey, guess what? He's family. So Joe Haden is family. Here's some of his stats. He was drafted round 1, pick number 7 in 2010. He has 504 solo tackles, total tackles 615, and he is a 3-time Pro Bowler. What else I found out? He's 5'11". I'm bringing this up for a reason. 5'11", 195 pounds, and had 40-yard speed was 4.57. Why are you bringing this up, Tony, in the middle of this? The reason why I'm bringing this up, there's more proof that Shiloh Sanders should be in the NFL because Shiloh Sanders is 6'0". I told you I'm always going to bring this up. He's 6'0". He's 100. At the time, he was 197 pounds, and he ran a 4.52. So if Joe Haden was a Pro Bowler at that height, weight, and speed 3 times, Shiloh Sanders should get an opportunity, okay? So prayers out to anybody and everybody in Mexico, especially Americans. Sending prayers that way, okay? If I get an update throughout the night, I'll post it. But hopefully tomorrow, when I see Deebo&Jo live tomorrow, I'm going to see Deebo Harrison, James Deebo Harrison, and Joe Haden, okay? Now, let me lift the mood a little bit. So guess who was speaking at the Combine today, right? Andrew Berry and Todd Monken spoke at the Combine today. I didn't know that. I thought maybe, I didn't know they speak, but now I know because this is actually the first Combine that I actually watched. I didn't watch last year because Shedeur Sanders was not there. I know we did have some LeJontay Wester, Jimmy Horn. Did Travis compete? I don't think Travis competed last year, but this is my first Combine. So guess what? They had some very interesting things to say. So let me start with Todd Monken since he's the head coach, okay? Todd Monken had about an 11-minute video. Well, that's what they produced anyway. Now the microphones in the audience was very, very low. You couldn't hear them, but you could only hear what Todd Monken and Andrew Berry was responding to. So of course, the question regarding Shedeur Sanders came up. Now there is something seriously wrong with Mary Kay Cabot. The reason why I'm saying that, I watched both interviews or press conferences, both for Andrew Berry and Todd Monken. All the other interviewers in the audience, I know Tony Grossi was there. Out of all those people in the audience, guess who was stuck? Every question they asked was regarding Shedeur Sanders. That lady has an issue. That is also the same lady. To me, she's obsessed with Shedeur Sanders in an unhealthy way, because remember, that's the same lady who called Dylan Gabriel the supercomputer and was putting all those lies on Shedeur Sanders. But all her concern was for both Andrew Berry and Todd Monken. What about Shedeur Sanders? How did you like about Shedeur Sanders? So let's speak on that. Now, Todd Monken, you may already know, once again, he did not commit to starting Shedeur Sanders. He did state that there was going to be an open competition, but not in the way that Kevin Stefanski had an open competition. He said it's not going to be like that. He said the only person or people that can determine who's going to be in the first slot, second slot, third slot would be the players for all positions. Now, you know Myles Garrett is secure. I'm pretty sure Denzel Ward is secure. But of course, they was asking in terms of the quarterback position. Now, that frustrated me again, because if I was Todd Monken, you already know my position on that. But hey, maybe he's playing politics. Maybe he hasn't had an opportunity to see all tapes for Deshaun Watson and Dylan Gabriel. Actually, matter of fact, Mary Kay, the one that called Dylan Gabriel a supercomputer, she never even brought him up. She kept asking about Shedeur Sanders. But this is what Todd Monken did say about Shedeur Sanders. And this is the first thing. The first question was about Shedeur Sanders. And this is the first thing that Todd Monken said out of his mouth. Hold on. Let me get this right here. Because I want him to tell you what he said about. I want him to say what he thought of Shedeur Sanders. Give me 1 second, Vesta. I'm going to pull this clip up. All right, here's what he said about Shedeur Sanders.
I really don't have an opening statement, so if you guys want to start, you can start.
Still has a long way to go into
You've seen it. We've seen it. You saw it in college. You saw it on tape last year. Sure, there's a ways to go, but what rookie isn't? I mean, what first-year player doesn't have a long way to go? So I'm excited to get started with him and all of our quarterbacks and all of our players. Do you feel like you have that?
That's exactly what he said about Shedeur Sanders. He is the elite talent. He said he knows it. You know it. Everybody else know it. We've seen it in the NFL and we've seen it in college. Now, from that point, which was the first, I'm gonna say minute of his segment for the press conference, all the way down, it went to, it's gonna be an open competition. He is excited to work with all of the players. What else he said? Let me tell you one thing. Remember I said in another live that Todd Monken would probably be the best head coach to be for Cleveland because he was there for 1 year and he knows how that Cleveland media is. That is true. Todd Monken, some of the questions that they was asking Todd Monken, the set of questions that they had for Andrew Berry was so much better for what they had with Todd Monken. You know why? Because I think they already know who Todd Monken is and they know that he's not going to play that crazy BS. You know what I'm saying? I think he even cussed during one of those meetings. I think somebody asked him, it could have been Tony Grossi. It definitely wasn't Mary Kay because we know that Mary Kay, all her questions was alluding to Shedeur Sanders and where he's going to fall in terms of the quarterback competition. Somebody asked Todd Monken, well, how did he feel or did he really want the head coach position at the Cleveland Browns? Todd Monken had to catch himself. Literally, he had to catch himself. He said, he basically said, what kind of stupid questions? He said, of course I want to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Of course. He said, would he have went to the New York Giants with John Harbaugh? He said, sure. He said, but he wanted a head coaching position at the Cleveland Browns. There it go. Another thing I found out with Andrew Berry, and then we're going to speak on Andrew Berry because I got more information on what Andrew Berry is looking for. So just hold on, Vesters. I hope you got your notes. So Todd Monken, of course, they was asking him about Baltimore. So we know Baltimore, they had an issue last year with the offense. Todd Monken, he said he wished that it was more that had came out of the offense. Basically, they had a lot of issues and they couldn't get around those issues. And I'm just putting it in layman terms. He said that he wished that he would have left Baltimore with a better winning record, but that is not the case. So, I guess they was trying to get a feel for Todd Monken, but they already knew who Todd Monken was because Todd Monken was already there, I think, in 2019. So, it is what it is. But set of questions they asked Todd Monken, I wish it would have been more direct along the lines of what they asked Andrew Berry. So let's talk about Andrew Berry. Was that the only thing? Yeah, they did. I mean, they could have asked Todd Monken anything. They was coming up with some silly questions. Come on, Cleveland Browns. They did that. Them the 11 minutes. If it was 11 minutes, if they didn't edit it and slice up Todd Monken's press conference, they should have did better. If that was the best questions that they had to ask Todd Monken and they put out there to be publicized, that's a shame. Come on, Cleveland Brown. Okay, so let's get to Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry, the more that I hear from Andrew Berry, he speaks, how can I say it, with intention, confidence, and surprisingly very direct, right? So Andrew Berry was asked a very good set of questions. Of course, Mary Kay was asking about Shedeur Sanders. I'm pretty sure you've already heard from other videos on what he said about Shedeur Sanders. He's happy with Shedeur Sanders' progress. In the offseason, he just wished Shedeur Sanders, well, he would like to see Shedeur Sanders work more on the performance of his body. I'm assuming strengthening. He really couldn't allude to it. He said more would come out in terms of camp, OTAs and everything like that. But he said he was, he was very glad with Shedeur Sanders, for lack of better words. So really that was it regarding Shedeur Sanders. Of course, he didn't commit to Shedeur Sanders starting, but what he did say about Shedeur Sanders, I'm okay with it. He said he was happy with the progression, nothing really bad. That part, maybe he was intentional on the way he worded things, but okay, it's Andrew Berry. What I did like what Andrew Berry had stated. Andrew Berry, throughout the interview, like I said, they asked him very good words. So someone brought up, or did he bring it up? This is what he said about Harold Fannin Jr. Andrew Berry basically said that Harold Fannin Jr. is the future tight end. He is the future in that particular role. He said this year during the combine, they would be highly aggressive in picking the players or the candidates or potential draft picks. They're looking for certain things, but they said that Harold Fannin Jr. is the future for the Cleveland Browns tight end position. You might as well say he's the leader. Now, they also brought up Deebo&Jo. He basically said that the relationship that Deebo&Jo held with the Cleveland Browns had ran its professional course. I'll leave it like that because he left it like that. But he did say this: if Deebo&Jo wanted to return to Cleveland as a tight end, he said he would be excited to bring him back. How wonderful. Yeah, he straight up. He said he's the future for the tight ends. He's the future for the tight ends. So he said that was a good note. Deebo&Jo, basically, he said he will welcome him back if he would like to come back home. He said, but if not, he'll always be, I think he called him a captain. And anytime he wanted to return to Cleveland, he's welcome. So that's a good thing. Now, Andrew Berry also thought, I didn't know he was going to get in specifics. So regarding the OLine, of course, that was a question that they hit Andrew Berry on consistently. And they did ask Todd Monken a question regarding the OLine. They basically asked me, what are you looking for? Well, you know that, what's his name? George Warhawk followed Todd Monken. That was the first hire Todd Monken did once he became the Cleveland Browns head coach. He brought over George Warhawk. Apologies. And you know that he chose that offensive line. So Andrew Berry was asked regarding the O-line. Andrew Berry called out 3 teams that he would model after in terms of trying to pick players this year, veterans and rookies, that would fit best on that O-line to protect Shedeur Sanders. One of those teams, of course, was the Baltimore Ravens. Well, guess what? He already got the pieces in the house that can pick those pieces similar to what the Baltimore Ravens had. I'm trying to tell you, Andrew Berry was very specific. He also called out the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. So we already know what type of players they're going to look for in terms of height, weight, calisthenics, abilities, and run times. Thank you, Andrew Berry. Now I can focus on those 3 teams O-line, look at their stats, and now I know who to focus on in terms of the O-line. I think that is I think that's Saturday or Sunday. So we'll be doing a lot of homework, okay? Now, Andrew Berry even went a step further. Someone asked Andrew Berry, would he be okay with having all rookies on the O-line, or would he want a mixture between veterans and rookies? Andrew Berry said this specifically. He said, if I can get these 3 players, of course, these type of players, because I thought he was actually calling out players that are currently in college. No, he was referring to O-line members, specifically left tackles that was already in the NFL or currently active in the NFL. Now I'm gonna bring this up on purpose because let me tell you one thing. I can see, and you're gonna hear here first, because I know one of these players, I think, well, actually, maybe all of these players are active, but I know this particular player that he brought up, yeah, all of these players is active because one is on the Ravens, one is on Tampa Bay, and I don't know what the third player is. I can see, mark my word, I can see Andrew Berry, the Cleveland Browns, giving up the 6th pick this year if they allow a trade. You know what they do, allow a trade for these 2 players. One of them are currently on the Ravens. He called them out specifically. Now, of course, he didn't phrase it like this, but he called them out as examples of the perfect fit rookies that if he could find these type of rookies out here in this combine this year, he would get them. Those names were Tyler Lindenbaugh. I know I probably messed his name up, but Tyler Lindenbaugh He was drafted in 2022. He's on the Ravens. He's a center, and he was picked first round, pick 26. I think if the Ravens want it, and I didn't look at the Ravens first round pick, but if Andrew Berry gives up 6, he probably can give up 6 to the Ravens for that particular player. They have to throw in some other players or whatever to get him. But he called him out, and then there was another player. But hold on, before that, let me give you a stats. For the 40, he ran a 4.98. 4.98. This is why those quarterbacks, and maybe this is why Andrew Berry had said that Shedeur Sanders needs to work or focus more on his body conditioning in the offseason. Because think about it. Of course, Shedeur Sanders did not run in the combine, so we don't know what his speed is. But we do know what it looked like when that defensive line was coming after him. Average quarterback, even Tom Brady, I think Tom Brady's run time was a 5.6, 5.9, let's say 6 flat, somewhere between that time. If you, or let's say Shedeur Sanders' 40 run time would be a 5.3. How you gonna get away from a player that's running 4.98? You gotta get faster. So for any quarterback in the NFL, including Shedeur, to get away from those defensive ends, he's gonna have to get faster. And we saw that last year. Shedeur Sanders, even though he was scrambling, he did get away. So that's a good thing. So maybe he's going to continue to work on his speed. But when you got 300 plus players running at this speed, I said 4.98, you better start booking. All right. Also, in terms of vertical jump, his vertical jump was a 32.5, and his broad jump was 9 feet. Why I want to bring that up? So if this particular player was on defense, let's say if this particular player was on defense, right? And the O-line fell to the ground like they did several times when Shedeur Sanders was in the back. If you got a center that can stand up straight and jump 9 feet out, that's why Shedeur Sanders and all the other quarterbacks, when they drop back, they're dropping back probably about 5 to 7 feet, because these 300 men or something standing up straight can leap forward 9 feet. Okay, so I can see Andrew Berry, if possible, trading, giving Ravens number 6 pick for this player. Okay, Tony Talks, keep talking more. Okay, gotcha. Andrew Berry also called out a player named Penny Sewell. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. It's out of the 3 players that he brought up specifically. If he can have them for rookies, he will automatically play them this year. So I'm going over these 3 players. The other player was Penny Sewell. Okay. He, in his 40, he ran a 5.09. Guess how much he weighs? 331 pounds. Now I know what type of metrics and stats Andrew Berry is looking for. Okay. We finna do this. Okay, in terms of, so he was drafted in 2001, 7 pick, another first rounder, right? Vertical jump, 28 inches into the air, standing up, jumping up. His broad jump, another 9-footer. This right here, oh, and his time, I talked about his time. His time was 5.09. They're looking for players that has all the weight in the world, but are also agile and that can jump and sprint and get out to that quarterback. Matter of fact, before this live, I'm going to Google the average speed of the NFL quarterback. If Andrew Berry was talking about this, I know why Shedeur Sanders and all the rookie quarterbacks, all the quarterbacks, if you got O-line or a defensive line doing this here, you're talking about freight trains coming at you. In basically all of these stats that I've seen, these O-line members, the heaviest players on the team, they're having some of the speeds of a slow wide receiver. What? This is what they looking for, massive players with speed and agility. Oh, going back to Todd Monken, when it came up regarding the O-line, this is one thing he did say, and I did like him for this. He said, in terms of O-line members and basically anybody on the team, including the wide receiver. He's looking for consistency. He said inconsistency. He said they will not be picking them on the team, or if they are currently on the team, they will be losing their slot. They will be dropping down in the 3s to 4s or whatever. He said he's looking for consistency. He's looking for, regarding wide receivers, players that can catch the ball and make a play. That's going to rule out Jerry Jeudy. If he goes to camp with this right here, that's going to rule out Jerry Jeudy. Okay, this is what Todd Monken said. In regarding wide receivers, he's looking for consistencies, players, wide receivers that can catch the ball and make plays on the ball. All right, Jerry Jeudy, you're on the clock, okay? Now, there's another player named Tristan Reeves, I'm going to say, that came out of Andrew Berry's mouth. He's a left tackle. Now, of course, that's what Shedeur Sanders needs because that's his blind spot. He's 6'5", 320 pounds, first rounder, pick number 13, Tampa Bay. I don't know if he's been on Tampa Bay for 6 years, but he was drafted by Tampa Bay. He's still active in the NFL. So if they was to trade number 6, I could either see them trading for the Ravens, for Tyler, or trading Tampa Bay for this particular player here, this left tackle for Shedeur Sanders. Also, Tony talks, what is his 40-yard speed? 4.8. The fastest one out of this list here that Andrew Berry specifically called out. This left tackle speed is 4.85. Well, why is that important? You know why that's important? Y'all remember Cam Robinson? Remember he was too slow, and the defensive edge would come round Big Baby Cam Robinson. Well, this is why speed like this is necessary in terms of the left guard, because if that player is coming around, you need somebody to move with that edge. Let's say if a Myles Garrett is after Shedeur Sanders, you need somebody that's going to stick with that Myles Garrett, so that Myles Garrett player on defense don't get Shedeur Sanders. I said, thank you, Andrew Berry. Now, I got something else, because Andrew Berry called out these particular players. 2 out of 3 of these players came from Iowa. Guess what I'm going to be watching for? All defensive end, defensive linemen, and offensive linemen from Iowa. Well, Tony, why are you going to look at defensive end from Iowa? Well, guess who the Iowa offensive line members was going against? The defensive line members. I know you got it. Of course, I'm going to look at both sets because the OLine members was going against the defensive line members. So I'm going to clock their speed too. Because if you're an OLine member for Iowa, right, I need to see what OLine member has a faster speed from the defensive line members from Iowa. If you don't understand me, hopefully you get it by 3 o'clock this morning. But that's in my mind. That's just how I'm going to pick these players out, okay, in the combine. Thank you. Combine starts tomorrow. And I think tomorrow is defensive ends. So I plan on doing a live each day. In the title, I'm going to have what particular position was assessed on that day. So if you want to come back for my commentary on the tight ends, come back on those particular days. Just know Saturday and Sunday are the biggest days. That's the wide receivers, the DBs, and the O-linemen. Okay. What does the Andrew Berry say? Now, remember about the interview process? The reason why a lot of people, he's like, golly. He even talked about Grant Udinski. He didn't go in details, but basically said he wished him the best, and he did wonderful in Jacksonville, and he kind of left it just like that. Just like that. You couldn't get nothing out of it. You couldn't get if he interviewed badly, poorly, good or bad. Nothing like this. Andrew Berry, and when he was answering the question regarding Grant Udinski, this is what he did say. He said in the first interview, because it's two interviews, the first interview, you only get 3 hours to meet with each candidate online. He said, you go through a list of topics. Of course, you want them to provide you very comprehensive questions. And then based off the questions, they ask sub questions or additional follow-up questions. He said 3 hours for any coach is not enough time. Then he went into the interview process for the second interview. And of course, I guess that's why they wanted them to write essays and all that stuff. Did he bring up the essays? No, but he did bring up, I think it was the personality test or behavior test. I guess they want to see exactly who they was. So it is what it is. But I didn't know they'd only get 3 hours, and that's why they had to have a second interview. So I think that's across the board. If that's not across the board, that's the Cleveland Browns interview process going forward. So I think that's it. So starting tomorrow, it was not my intent to look at the defensive line members, but for our and Oregon, because that's the players that he called out that are currently in the NFL and that he would like to choose players from. I'm definitely going to be looking at their schools tomorrow. And of course, Georgia and all the other schools, LSU. And I'll be coming back tomorrow with my, how many is it? I can't remember how many is it, if it's a lot. But it starts at 3 o'clock, so probably about 7 o'clock, I'll come on here, if not earlier, give you my assessment. And I'll give you my top 7, depending on how they perform tomorrow. So I'm excited. This is my first time assessing the combine, and I see a lot goes in there. And now with Andrew Berry giving that, now I understand what they are looking for in the candidates. And guess what? I'm gonna help Andrew Berry. I still want my dinner. So OLine, I know that was a lot of information. Do y'all have any questions? But yeah, Fannin, if Fannin didn't hear those words, if that clip goes viral, Fannin is going to be very, 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 very happy about what Andrew Berry stated about him. But they need to answer Todd Monken a lot more better questions than that, because that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. But these some big boys. These big boys right here can get up, they can go, and they can jump. And think about 300 pounds, 331 pounds coming at you with 5.9 seconds. As a quarterback, you better get out of the way. Oh, let me bring that up. Hold on one second. The average NFL quarterback, 40. 40 speed, 40 time. Okay, that's the average. But you know, some of these quarterbacks are not these elite speeds. We're talking about Lamar Jackson and maybe a Hurst. But according to this, the average speed for an NFL quarterback is 4.59 to 4.82. So guess what? I wasn't planning on looking at the quarterback days, not intentionally, but now I will see what speeds are average out for this particular quarterback. Andrew Berry did say this particular quarterback class is not like the previous class, and you know exactly what he was saying. Based off Andrew Berry's answer regarding the quarterback question in this combine on what they're looking for, because they was like, are you open to internal quarterback or an external cornerback? Andrew Berry said, honestly, it all depends on who the player is and what do we have in-house. But based off that answer, he's not looking for a quarterback. Andrew Berry is not looking for a quarterback in the 2026 NFL Combine. Like I said, that video, the clip out there is about 15 minutes. And I think that question comes up maybe around the 4th or the 5th, 6 minute mark. So that's exactly what he said. All right, investors. So that's it. But tomorrow, I'll be coming online about 6:45. Yeah, 7 o'clock, 4 hours. I don't think it takes that long. I don't know, but we shall see, investors. Okay. But all prayers to Joe. I hope Joe did get out of Mexico. I really hope that Joe got out of Mexico, and to any and all citizens over there, even the local citizens in Mexico. That's horrible. They are burning down Mexico. No traffic in the airport, no traffic out the airport. I think Joe, as I stated, he was trying to get on a private plane. Don't know. Joe does have a family. He got married in 2013. He has 2 sons. So he is a family man. So tomorrow, I'll definitely be looking for updates regarding their podcast. So our prayers to Joe and everyone else that's in Mexico. Investors, that's it. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. And we heating up the combine this week. Andrew Barrion gave me exactly what I needed to know to moving forward. And we're about to go. And Todd Monken has spoke directly regarding that wide receiver room. Oh, thank you, babe. Thank you. Regarding that wide receiver room, they're looking for wide receivers, all players with consistencies that know how to catch the ball. He said this, catch the ball and make plays. Jerry Judy, you on the clock. All right, Vesters. Until next time, make sure you get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because we stay vested up, and hopefully I see you tomorrow. All right, Vesters. Thank you all. Have a wonderful